What's up, fight fans? This is Kurt DeVille with Counterpunch Boxing News, and I have some new news concerning Frank Warren. Frank Warren had some interesting things to say about Tyson the Gypsy King Fury, and this is what he had to say. He said, quote, "If I thought he would lose to Usyk, I would try and talk him out of the fight." Okay, and of course we know, insist that Tyson Fury's shaky performance against Francis Ngannou hasn't all dented his confidence in his ace client ahead of a highly anticipated undisputed heavyweight championship. And he said, Warren admitted that Fury had an off night against Ngannou, but refused to read into anything more than that. He said, no. He said, "I'm a big believer in him. I think he's the best heavyweight out there. I know absolutely people feel that there are some question marks after the fight against Francis Ngannou. For me, he had an off night that he won a fight. I've seen fighters have an off night and get beat. He won the fight. We will see." Okay. He said, you got to look at Usyk as well, Warren said. Usyk against Dubois. Now, Dubois has shown that Usyk can be hurt, that he is a little vulnerable to the body. Will Tyson Fury exploit that or go a different way of going about to win the fight? I don't know. I fancy him big time, Tyson. I'm not going to bet against him. If I thought he would lose the fight, I would try and talk him out of having the fight. Those are the words of Frank Warren. And let me counterpunch. First of all, though, I think most promoters are in the hoping business. I think they hope their fighters would win simply because, that's who they're signed to. You have to back your fighter. However, let me leave you guys with this, with Frank Warren. How many times now have we seen Frank Warren have a fighter, then get beat by a fighter, then all of a sudden he's the promoter of that fighter? Think about it. Francis Ngannou, a lot of people thought Francis beat up Tyson, but guess who was there? You had Eddie Hearn, you had Anthony Joshua, you had Francis Ngannou, and then guess what? You had Frank Warren, as you guys can see, right? Okay, same thing went from when Zhilei Zhang put a whooping, stopped, and then knocked out in the rematch Joe Joyce. Where was he at? He signed Zhang. Okay, so don't give me that, I'm not going to bet against my fighter. Well, that's okay. I know you hope he wins. However, he has a manager and he has a promoter. But understand, if that's the case, though, Frank Warren knows that he's banking on his fighter to win, but there is no true loyalty when it comes to a promoter. Never. Especially when the opportunity presents itself to signing him. Even Eddie Hearn said it himself that he wished he would have signed Tyson when he had the opportunity back in 2018 when he was making his comeback. He admitted that, like maybe last year sometime. And speaking of Warren's criticizing of Oleksandr Usyk's fight with Dubois, saying it wasn't a great performance either, you can't compare those two fights, and let me tell you why. Usyk stopped Dubois, or better yet, Dubois quit, or better yet, Usyk made Dubois quit. That fight was over round 9. 2 knockdowns, both Usyk. It wasn't a shared knockdown. Francis Ngannou never hit the canvas. Okay, Tyson Fury did. And he ran and elbowed and clinched and held and fouled ever through that fight, holding on for dear life, and they gave him a decision that people didn't think he deserved. Whereas Usyk stopped his fighter. So stop that. Cut that out, Frank. Because because everybody was shocked to see Tyson Fury still on top or haven't been beaten yet. And I think it's more of haven't been beaten yet, and by default, he's on top. Okay? But he has to show that he's on top to beat the top guys that are right there with him. So, you guys tell me what you think of Frank Warren thinking if he thought that Tyson Fury would lose, he would try to talk him out of the fight. Well, in closing, you have to take into account that Frank Warren and Tyson Fury and Oleksandr Usyk and Alex Krusik, they haven't fought yet. And a lot of people are not surprised because of what happened. A lot of people think it's a little sketchy that he somehow got cut. A lot of those things are going about. So until now, you're saying I would have tried to talk him out of the fight. Well, we don't know if that's not the case based on the fight not happening week after next. But you guys tell me what you think of Frank Warren and his interesting statement towards Tyson the Gypsy King Fury that he would take him out of the fight if he thought he would get beat. Of course, please subscribe. And you guys been counterpunching. Peace.